Teach me about the Great Lakes. Teach me about the Great Lakes. Welcome back to Teach Me About the Great Lakes, a twice-monthly podcast in which I, a Great Lakes novice, ask people who are smarter and harder working than I am to teach me all about the Great Lakes. My name is Stuart Carlton. I work with Illinois Indiana Sea Grant, and I know a lot about missing that which you used to have, but you no longer have, and you think maybe that's okay that I don't have it until you start to do the thing that you used to have to do, and now you have to do it again, and you realize, no, I wish I had it. But I don't know a lot about the Great Lakes, and that's the point of this here show. Now, this is our October episode, and normally in October, we like to schedule a Halloween episode. We call it the Lakehouse of Terror. But this October is a little bit different for a number of reasons. We just had our omnibus proposal due. There's a paper that is due on Monday that I have 1,000 words in, and so I'm going to have to ask for yet another extension or just not do the paper, which is what I should have done in the first place. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Carolyn about that. And all sorts of other stuff. And so, all right, there's Carolyn now. Hey, Carolyn Foley, research coordinator. And so the long and short of it is that I just didn't have time to get the episode together this year. Like it didn't happen. And so, but we still have our good friends here, who record the episode with us. So there's Carolyn Foley, research coordinator with Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. How are you?
I am all right. I guess I'm sort of looking forward to, not, perishing in some weird way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So here, we'll bring on Geneva, and then we'll talk about that. Geneva Langland, communication guru for Michigan Sea Grant. That's probably not your actual title, though. What is it?
I'll accept it. Communications editor sounds much less interesting than guru.
It does. Well, I don't know what you do over there in Michigan. Yeah.
Brilliant communications mind.
Brilliant communications mind. Anyway, Geneva's awesome. Hall of Famer, immediate Hall of Famer. And we weren't even going to do this, and I happened to see Geneva at the, we had a meeting that Geneva was at, and I was like, oh, we got to get together with Geneva. So even though we're not doing a Halloween special, we're super glad to have her over here. So that's good. And yeah, so the deal was, right, as Carolyn was saying, was, maybe we'll put some of these up in the feed or something as a rerun or whatever. Right, so we get together and we make like this fake story, right? We pretend like a couple years ago we were at a campfire or whatever. And this year, or last year, what was it last year?
We were on a boat.
That's right. With a mizzen mast.
On a boat.
Yes.
On a boat. Sorry. I will not
getting stalked by Jaws.
Yes. That's right. Yep. Yeah. The Great Lakes bull sharks, which again it's not clear they don't exist, right? Great Lakes bull sharks. Many people say that they're out there. Such as
So is that what we're going to talk about today, Great Lakes bull sharks?
Well, we could, but no, I thought we just sort of I don't have a lot planned for today, right? I got I prepared a poem. Well, I didn't prepare a poem. I haven't written poetry since I was a teenager, and I wrote the same poetry that every teenager writes. And that poetry shall not be shared. No. But so I was thinking about, since we're not doing the whole deal and telling the stories or whatever, but I still like to be in the spooky season spirit and the Halloween spirit because it is a fun time of year. And so I thought that'd be important. And so one of my favorite poets is from Portland, Maine. That's Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He's from Portland, Maine. When he was born, it was actually in Massachusetts, I believe, Portland. But since then, it's become in Maine. And he has a really great poem for Halloween, which I thought I would just go ahead and read, and then we could sort of talk about the Halloween process, I think, and what we do, and then maybe hear, what's going on over in Michigan, maybe start to get ready for the Lakeys, and then we'll get an episode out of it. I'm not too worried about it. So this is this is called Haunted Houses by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow of Portland, Maine. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors. We meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages, they come and go, impalpable impressions in the air, a sense of something moving to and fro. There were more guests at table than the hosts invited. The illuminated hall is thronged and quiet, inoffensive ghosts as silent as the pictures on the wall. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear. He but perceives what is, while unto me all that has been is visible and clear. We have no title deeds to house or lands, owners and occupants of earlier dates. From graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands, and hold in Mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere, and everywhere wafts through these earthly mists and vapors dense a vital breath of more ethereal air. Our little lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires. The struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high, come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. And as the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws o'er this sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. So from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light connecting it with this, o'er whose unsteady floor that sways and bends wander our thoughts above the dark abyss. Anyway, so that one always gets me in like the spirit, this idea of this ghost world that exists, right?
Can I? That yours is very thematic. Can I share? One of my favorite Halloween.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Get you in the mood. It's that song that you may have heard that goes spooky, scary skeletons. The Great Lakes have disappeared.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. Hey, that's the fire alarm. Well, I guess I guess we got to go outside. Let's grab our mics, I guess.
Yeah, at least it's a nice day today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
On the sun.
Cool. All right.
Maybe the exit. Where are we heading?
Well, here, let's just walk out. Yeah, let's just, you know what? Let's just take a walk outside.
What a tune.
Oh, it's a little darker than I thought it would be, huh? Well, who knew?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so late in the evening.
Yeah, I guess the time got away from us. Well, anyway, yeah. So Halloween episode, the Lakehouse of Terror. So I think again, a little bit underprepared this year, but that's how it goes. I bet y'all enjoyed having the time off anyway, and a little bit less to work on.
Yeah, I took the time to make my Halloween costume instead.
Oh, nice. What are you going as this year?
I'm taking a page out of Megan Gass's book, my coworker who dresses up as the bag monster.
Yeah, so you're going as a huge pile of garbage? That's always one of the best things that goes with Halloween. That's really great. Yeah, no, every year I'm the same thing. I'm a unicorn every year because we found this costume at Target, and it's perfect.
So I'm going to be honest. Like, I thought we were still recording the episode, so
sorry about that.
I spent a little bit of time trying to write up a story. So since we're waiting out here anyway, do you guys want to? I don't know. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, it you'll see why I wanted to write about this particular topic. I have a bit of a love. So, all right. This is called The Great Lakes Have Disappeared. So.
Oh, wait, hold on. Well, I mean, since we got it, we might as well, let's see, we might as well do the full thing. If we're going to have that title, look, I happen to bring my, my little sound effect thingy. Luckily,
so let's very important things to take out during a fire.
So yeah, I brought the sound effect thingy. So let's do that. Do the title again. Might as well do it right.
All right. So this is called The Great Lakes Have Disappeared. All right. So one morning, okay, and this is a little bit more loosey-goosey than I normally go, but one morning, just north of Chicago, there was a Sunday morning where a swimmer was getting ready, and she would go out swimming in Lake Michigan every single Sunday morning with all of her friends. So she got up, she got her suit on, she got her wetsuit because it was a little bit chilly. She got her goggles, she got her swim cap, she biked down to the lake to see all her friends, and she was getting ready to jump in. And when she came up to the edge, where normally she would just kind of do a flip into the water, there was nothing. She was like, what the heck is going on? And she looked around to see if any of her colleagues were there. And they were starting to show up too. The other Sunday morning swimmers were starting to show up. And they all kind of spread out along the edge. And they were like, what the heck is going, like they could just see down to the bottom of Lake Michigan and there was nothing there, nothing at all. And so that same Sunday morning, up on the north coast of Lake Superior, there was an elderly gentleman was getting ready to go out fishing for one of the last times of the year. And he's in his little motorboat and he's heading out in his little John boat with this little, humongous motor on a very tiny boat. And he's getting ready to head out and he's going down the river and he gets to where he's supposed to be able to enter Lake Superior. And again, it's just solid. Like there's no water. There's nothing there at all. And the same thing happened in the eastern edge of Lake Ontario, way down by Watertown, New York. There were some people who were going for a run along the beach, and they normally were used to seeing all these things. And there was just no water at all. And we're talking like nothing at all. Like you could see the bottom. There were no boats. There were no fish. There was no garbage. There was nothing except for the sediments. No plants, nothing. Everyone was just extraordinarily confused and a little bit alarmed, honestly. I mean, you've got like the largest freshwater thing in the entire world, and suddenly it's like, not there. So it's problematic, potentially. So everybody starts calling up their favorite people who, because, they listen to like Teach Me About the Great Lakes and things like that. And they start calling up the scientists, the specialists. So they call Ed Verhamy of Limnotech and they say to Ed, what's going on? Why is the water gone? And Ed is like, what are you talking about? It's Sunday morning. I'm fine. And Ed, who happens to be up in the UP, because he loves the UP, he stepped out. Same thing. He's like, what the heck is going on? And then somebody called Ashley Elgin from Noah Glero. And same thing, like, Ashley, there's something crazy going on. Ashley rolled out of bed. Actually, Ashley's probably an early riser. She was already out of bed, but then she went in Muskegon. She went to the water and she said, my goodness gracious, what is going on? And so they and many other scientists all across the Great Lakes Basin were getting calls and were stopping and thinking, like, what the heck's going on? So they start calling each other. And they stopped and they thought, okay, what do we have that we can use? Data. We've got these things that transmit data. If we go take a look at them, we're pretty sure that we would be able to find out, like, exactly what happened. Maybe, like, are we all in some weird simulation that something's going on or whatever? So they called the trusty buoy wranglers at Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. And they said, hey, and the Great Lakes Observing System and at the NOAA Great Lakes Environmental Research System and at all of the places. And they said, okay, can you guys check your data, please, to see, like, because the lakes disappeared and we're trying to figure out, like, when did it happen? What the heck is going on? And so people started looking at the graphs And it did seem like there was kind of one point where all of a sudden the data just stopped reporting all over the entire Great Lakes, no more data being reported. And they started stretching out to, like, some of the autonomous underwater vehicles and different things like that. No data anywhere at this particular time. Like, this is all extraordinarily odd. So several weeks later, as people are pouring through the data, still trying to figure out where the heck did our resources go, there was somebody, it's an undergraduate student who was a summer intern who had stayed on at Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. They had been helping with the buoy. And they started looking deep into the data. And they started looking into the code because they said, this is very, very, very strange. Like, let's double check. And they looked specifically at the 3 Illinois Indiana Sea Grant buoys, the Michigan City buoy, the Wilmette buoy, and the Chicago Pier buoy, or CHUI. And they started to notice some really crazy anomalies in CHUI. They started to notice, like, these weird patterns in the data that looked like suddenly you're seeing, like, 1,000-foot waves, but they seemed to be repeated, and they were very confused. And so they happened to be friends with someone who was a linguist. And so the linguist student came in and started looking and said, those don't look random. Those look like a pattern. And so they started analyzing them together. And they stayed up late at night, because they couldn't understand what was going on. And they were looking at different things, and they said, these patterns, they are repeated. There's like 1,000-foot wave and then a 60-foot wave. But what the heck's going on? And so they took it all the way up because, of course, everybody's being monitored all the time. They started being monitored by different people, and they got taken up to the national governments. And the governments were saying, yeah, you found something that we were hoping you wouldn't find. They overlaid, it turned out that the governments had known about this for a while. They overlaid the language over top of the anomalous data, and it demonstrated that Chewie, in particular, had just, all of us were decided to turn its back on all of the people in the Great Lakes Basin. It had been communicating for the past year and a half with aliens. And the aliens came, and on that certain day, they grabbed all of the resources and took it with them into the universe. And the reason that Chewie gave, because they did wind up believing a thing. It was just because you didn't care enough about the Great Lakes, and the aliens cared more. Yeah, so there's always love for the buoys, right? So
there's always,
and I also
love
love
in
the Simpsons
stand.
episodes, so that's why I wrote them.
Oh gosh, Carolyn, that's great. Oh, it is a terrifying thought too. Oh, I thank you for writing that. That was, yeah, the idea of the buoys, whose team are they on really, right? And you notice the birds like the
Only
buoys a
their
lot
own.
too. Kind of makes you wonder. It sure does. Anyway, jeez. Well, that's good. Yeah. Wow.
Did you just hear that?
What? No, I didn't. No.
I thought I heard something weird.
You're probably just jacked up because I was doing such a great job telling
Yeah,
the
no,
stories
Carol
about
gets
the
you all
different
fired up, and
anomalous
it is so
things.
dark out in the wind and stuff. It does make you kind of. Nope, that's not the wind. It is dark out, and the wind and stuff kind of makes you, wonder what exactly is going on. It is kind of eerie out. It is spooky season. Oh gosh. Well, anyway, yeah. So no, I too would be scared, but what would happen? We're at campus. It's a very safe place to be overall. Yeah.
Theory.
Yeah, especially if you didn't go to
Yeah,
IU.
I'll try to shake off the nerves. Glad to be here with you guys and
sure.
not out here alone. That'd be terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Well, I'm glad you shared your story, Carolyn, because I was afraid to admit that I had also spent a little time prepping
now
a
I
story.
just feel horrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just
didn't
feel
want to
so.
make Stuart feel bad, so I didn't know if I was going to bring it up. But yeah, I do have one in my back pocket. If you guys have time to listen to it.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, like I said, we
Yeah,
don't have anything else planned.
Yeah, we're still, and we're still out here, so yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
we're stuck out. I assume. Yeah, let's see. We can head back for just a second. Yeah. Weird sounding fire alarm too. Yeah.
Anyway. Great way to spend time. Go for it, Geneva.
All right. So back in the early 1800s, there was a young cartographer who set out to map the shoreline of the Detroit River, where it winds its way from Lake St. Clair in the north down to Lake Erie. And he started up in the northern end of the river, up by Belle Isle, and got in his canoe so he could start paddling along the river and mapping its curves. He did a lap in the canoe around Belle Isle itself and sketched out the shoreline as he went. But as the cartographer rounded the last bend, he noticed something unexpected on the banks of Belle Isle. It was a dark opening, like a hole or a tunnel, right by the water line on the shore of the island. So he canoed a little bit closer, tried to peek at it, but it was so dark he couldn't see if there's anything inside. He went a little bit closer, he couldn't hear anything coming out of it, just the lapping of the waves of the river. And he got a little closer, and whoop, a current whooshed him into the hole, and he disappeared from sight. He was surrounded by darkness. All he could hear was the sound of water sloshing, and he could feel the wind on his face as he was pulled faster and faster through the darkness. It could have been minutes, it could have been hours, but all of a sudden he poof, popped back out into the sunlight. Blinking, he looked around and tried to figure out where he was, because it surely wasn't the Detroit River, and he wasn't looking at Belle Isle. He looked out instead at an endless expanse of water reaching all the way to the horizon. And he turned around in his canoe, and behind him there was a craggy, rocky cliff leading up to some weather-beaten, gnarled trees up on the top of some rocks, and no sign of the tunnel entrance that he must have just popped out of. He was utterly bewildered and paddled his way over to a lower spot on the shoreline so he could clamber out of his canoe and get on land in this unfamiliar, rocky, tree-filled territory. He peered over the trees and saw a trail of campfire smoke rising into the air, so he decided to trek inland and try to figure out where that came from.
No.
And lo and behold, he found a group of fur trappers who were working in the area, and they said, "I don't know what you mean. We are up in the northern reaches of, what would be called Michigan. We're up by the Great Lake that they call Gitchigumi, Lake Superior." And the cartographer was utterly stunned. How had he gotten from Belle Isle all the way in the south to the Upper Peninsula, what we would know as the Upper Peninsula now? But he didn't really see a way to get back home. He didn't know how to get there or what route to take, so he just accepted his fate and started a new life and joined the fur trapping group as they moved around the area, and spent the rest of his life mapping out this new northern territory. But he could not have known that a couple hundred years later, the people of Michigan would see that connection between Belle Isle in the south and that point all the way up in those wooded territories of the north, and they would create something called the Iron Bell Trail, a connection of walking and hiking and biking paths that stretches all the way from Belle Isle, snaking across the state up to Ironwood, the far western point of what's now known as the Upper Peninsula. And that trail, if only it had existed when the young cartographer got lost, he might have been able to find his way home.
That's amazing.
Good for him. I mean, I'm glad you wrote the story to be like, okay, I'm just going to roll with it, because I would probably just be like, oh, this is a terrible thing.
Sometimes you gotta take the Lake Superior size lemons life throws at you.
Definitely true. Yeah, but you also tied in, one thing that you do nicely is tie in, like, I tend to just make like fart jokes or what. And so I really like how you sort of built in that thing. So that trail's real, right? And so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Hey, we're near this cool. Have you seen this park on campus before, Carolyn? It's kind of wooded.
I haven't actually. Campus has changed so much in the past 20 years. Yeah. This one seems like a new one to me.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, the trees are pretty thick.
Yeah.
I can't really see the sky anymore.
Let's just go see what's up. Here, let me. I happen to have a torch. Let me just light the torch here.
You got a torch?
Yeah.
You British?
No. Like,
are you the reason that the fire alarm went off?
I mean, not the reason. Let me just hold on. There we go.
Ah, that kind of torch.
Kind of warming up a bit too. That's
helpful. Well, it's a fairly substantial torch. Alarmingly similar to the campfire sound effect from several years ago, actually. But Anyway, yeah, well, let's just go see what's back there. But yeah, so what I really like about what you do, the way you tie in, like someone, actually, Katie and Titus, we also do this other show, Ask Dr. Fish. I don't know if you've seen this. And what always impresses me about that is I see half of my job in that show is to derail it with stupid asides and whatever, or just lean in for like the comedy value thing or whatever. And what's so great about Titus and Katie is that they're able to do that, but they do it in a way, and like they almost always just kind of bring it back, to the educational point. And so I like that too. Boy, it sure is dark here. But anyway, no, so that's really great. Yeah. So then, in terms of Halloween and what we do, what I like about this, it reminds me of what is. But this doesn't make any sense. No, this doesn't make any sense because we're on land, and like so there may be bull sharks, but why would there be land sharks? But anyway, what we're trying to do with the podcast here, especially the Halloween episode, is we're trying to do.
Are you sure there aren't any land sharks? Because that sounds an awful lot like what we experienced last year.
It does. Well, I'm as sure that there aren't land sharks as Carolyn is sure that there aren't sharks in Lake. Oh my God! Look out! That goes on for quite some time. There it is.
We have met our fate yet again.